Good evening, everybody. Great to be back with you. Let me guarantee you it is great. Joe Biden and the Marxist Dems trying to turn Easter into Transgression Sunday. He did his worst. I have to tell you, not in my worst nightmare did I ever dream this nation would have a president who could be so evil, so hateful, so downright satanic. On the holiest day of the year for Christians, Joe Biden declared Easter to be Transgender Day of Visibility. He knew what he was doing, presumably. His wife knew. All of his advisors and the Marxist Dems who make up the cabal who are the masters of this puppet president knew better. But still, they tried to turn it into Transgression Sunday instead of celebrating Easter. It is a declared war now on Christians. And if you are Christian, make no mistake about it, you are now in a war. Biden issued a White House proclamation Friday that called upon Americans to join him in, quote, lifting up the lives and voices of transgender people throughout our nation, end quote. And on Easter Sunday, Biden followed that up with a post on X telling Americans that transgender people are, quote, made in the image of God, end quote. Good to know that the cognitively impaired and politically corrupt president has some idea of religion and the place of God. The Biden White House also banned religious artwork from the White House Easter egg art contest, if you can imagine. This is venal. This is evil, folks, and make no mistake about it. This war is not going to have any relief until one side or the other wins. And right now, evil is winning out. The rule states that eggs, quote, must not include any questionable content, religious symbols, overtly religious themes, or partisan political statements. What happened to that transgender visibility day? So it's clear Joe Biden is a blasphemous disgrace who is worshiping at the altar of the radical LGBT agenda. By the way, if you're wondering how many days of celebration the LGBT group has, it's 50. 50 days of celebration each year for something related to LGBTQ. Biden apparently directed his cabinet to recognize this fake transgender holiday as well. Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra, who also claims to be Catholic, shared that he was celebrating the Trans Day on Twitter and X. Becerra wrote this, quote, I'm thinking about our country's great transgender, non-binary, and two-spirit leaders who epitomize resilience, progress, and joy. Transgender Day of Visibility is an opportunity to celebrate their accomplishments. Really? Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we do this now? Why don't we invite everyone to give us a list of their accomplishments, and let's put it up against the accomplishments of all Americans since our founding as a great nation and constitutional republic. I can't think of, too many that'll be on the former list, but I can think of a country's worth that will be on the latter. And by the way, I don't know what a two-spirit leader is. Perhaps someone can inform us, but maybe we could wait for another one of those other holidays before they do. These people comprise less than 1% of our nation's population, yet they are the aggressors. They are trying to make every Christian in this country their victim. They are attacking the First Amendment, and by the way, that First Amendment provides for each and every one of us, irrespective of religion, and every religion is honored and protected by it because of our Constitution. Yet Biden and Becerra write about all of this as if they are our nation's finest. This is absurd, and it's a time that we understand what is sickness, what is illness, mental illness, and more. And certainly the Marxist Dems are just exactly that. They are a mentally ill group of people. And as Senator Tommy Tuberville said, the Marxist Dems are simply satanic. And we have to deal with the reality that is in front of us, in my opinion, folks. And we have to deal with it now. Biden and Becerra were also joined by fellow devout Catholic, former Speaker Nancy Pelosi. On Easter, Pelosi was so deep in her religion and thinking of Jesus Christ and his day. she wrote this on X, the quote, "It is more important than ever to stand with the trans community." Pelosi also commemorated Easter Sunday by acknowledging Cesar Chavez Day. Truly bizarre conduct, evil conduct by those so-called devout Catholics, all to celebrate a so-called transgender day among 50 others that nobody has ever heard of before. To highlight the absurdity of it, that day, apparently only one of 50 such LGBT holidays commemorated, celebrated by someone in this country every year. This is madness, folks. Madness. Well, here are some of the others, just to give you a sense of just what these demonic, they would call themselves devout Democrats, are supporting. There's HIV is Not a Crime Awareness Day in February. There's International Asexuality Day coming up in April. Non-Binary Parents Day in April. Pansexual and Pan-Romantic Awareness and Visibility Day in May. Gay Uncles Day in August. You get the point. 50 of them. 50 holidays for the LGBTQ community. Well, everyone apparently gets a holiday, except if you're a Christian, of course. Christians in America have to share the holiest day in their faith with this nonsense, brought to you by the Marxist Dems, the evil satanic Marxist Dems, the Bidens, his regime, and the Marxist Dem Party. President Trump, by contrast, continued to prove he's the greatest defender of the Christian faith in the country. It's why Trump has always had strong support from evangelical Christians, even when he first ran in 2015. Christians know that in Donald Trump, they have a fighter in the White House. And here is President Trump over the weekend talking commemoration of Easter.
We remember the suffering and death of God's only Son and his glorious resurrection on the third day. On Easter Sunday, we proclaim with joy, Christ is risen.
Christ is risen. That is the message that all Christians want to hear on Easter Sunday. Americans want Christianity respected as well, and their religion assured, not just in the White House, not just in the Biden regime, but all across America. And look at what Biden has unleashed and the radicals he's emboldened. On Easter Sunday, Marxist climate and Palestinian protesters decided they would hijack the Mass at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. Watch what happened. For what reason to disrupt a religious service? There are few words that accurately can describe the shame and the disgust associated with such acts. And no doubt about this. We are tolerating far too much in this country, but those folks in St. Patrick's didn't tolerate much more of that disruption, and good for them. Would Muslims or Jews be forced to tolerate such outrageous conduct in their places of worship? I don't think so. But it's not just in churches. The attack on Christianity in America is all over. And another heinous criminal act committed in Tennessee over on Easter. A sinister individual set a trailer full of Bibles on fire in front of a church in Tennessee, naturally. Pastor Greg Locke estimated around 200 Bibles were burned. The church's security cameras caught the man committing the act around about 6 a.m. The church has security cameras because of previous attacks. And again, if this had happened to any other religious group in America, the federal government would declare it a hate crime. It would be all over the corporate Marxist media. But where is that coverage, and where is that investigation by the FBI? Where is the Justice Department? And for that matter, where is this satanic president and his acolytes and masters in the White House. They're nowhere, of course, to be found under orders from the president, no doubt, and the cabal that are his masters, because this is Joe Biden's agenda. His war on Christianity, allow it to be desecrated, usher in the new state religion of Marxism, radical Marxism, and LGBTQ. Well, joining me now to discuss this is the co-founder, senior pastor for the New Spirit Revival Center, and Trump 2024 senior advisor, Darrell Scott. Pastor, great to have you with us. I describe this as a war on Christianity. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree, absolutely. Joe Biden is undoubtedly being used by the devil, used by Satan to promote, it seems, every wicked and nefarious agenda that is in the devil's repertoire. I mean, he's endeavoring to give the LGBTQ community preferential status in this country, giving them special mention. I mean, for him to take a day that is one of the holiest days on the Christian calendar and use it to promote ideas and agendas that are antithetical to the teachings and principles of the Bible. It's absolutely horrible, man. I mean, this guy calls himself a Catholic, but he just ignores his profession of Catholicism in order to promote an agenda that is anti-Christian at best. And he knows it, we know it, and everyone knows it. And it seems as if Christianity itself is under attack in America. The devil is using this administration more so than any administration that I can think of in the recent past. And he's having an easy time doing it. Joe Biden seems to be a willing participant in these evil or this wicked or this lascivious underbelly that is eroding the fabric of the morality and the fabric of American society. It's a shame.
It is a shame. It's a disgrace. It is a blight on the White House and this country's history that will never be forgotten. But I want to turn to the churches themselves. Do you believe that Christianity in this country will respond? What will the pastors do? What will churches do about this man who is, as you and I both agree, he is satanic, and what he is conjuring is pure, raw evil?
Yeah, and Biden professes to be a Christian. He professes it, but his practice doesn't line up with his profession. He's, for the sake of political expediency, he's compromising this Christianity or this Catholicism that he purports to have. The churches need to begin to stand up more. The churches need to take a more aggressive vocal stand against Joe Biden's, allowing this wickedness to influence our nation. We need to be more aggressive, and we need to put politics to the side and stand on the side of right and wrong. You know, a number of churches, I'm sorry to say, will compromise their Christianity for political expediency, for the sake of a party. They'll take party over profession, and they won't speak out against it simply because they are part of the liberal left, they are part of the Democratic Party, and they won't take a stand against it when they need to put their profession of the Lord, put the profession of the faith that they have in practice, and say, listen, we have to take a stand for this or stand against this, regardless of what side of the political aisle it is on. And they can't allow the media to determine the courage that they have in standing up against this wickedness.
Yeah. Wickedness everywhere. This is an administration that has thrown away the country's borders, that has accepted the deaths of more than 100,000 Americans every day from fentanyl overdoses, other drugs as well. They're permitting sex trafficking across the border. This administration is in league with those Mexican drug cartels, the sex traffickers, the drug traffickers, the human smugglers, and bringing in almost 15 million people since he took the oath of office. We are seeing evil everywhere, and nowhere is the national media speaking up. Very few. Think about Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, Mitch McConnell, the Republican leader in the Senate. Where are our leaders, other than President Trump, who has spoken out? But very few voices have been raised by the Republican Party. Mike Gallagher, the former head of the CCP Select Committee, He's fighting the Republican Party, hasn't a word to say about any of the transgressions being committed by this administration. He's just seeing fit to do more evil to the Republican Party. We are in a moment in time that is, to me, would have been years ago, before Biden was elected, would have been unthinkable that we could be witnessing this. Don't you agree, Pastor?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we're at a time where this is a major point of transition in American society, because we're beginning to call wrong right, and we're beginning to call right wrong. And things that which were at one time normal in this society are being viewed as abnormal, and that which was abnormal is being viewed as normal. And then we have too many, quote unquote, supposed leaders that are, once again, for the sake of political expediency, they're afraid to speak out. They're afraid to be courageous. They're afraid to take a stand against this wickedness and be vocal in opposition to this undermining and this erosion of American society through the erosion of our morals, through the erosion of our standards and our principles. Like you said, we have open borders, people flooding over here. We have practices and principles that are prevalent in this country right now that were unthinkable a decade ago, a little over a decade ago. Yeah. And our so-called leaders are so willing to compromise, to go along just to get along, and to get along just to go along, that they're not taking a stand. And those that do take a stand are marginalized, are oppressed. People want to criticize President Trump. President Trump has been the most vocal advocate for Christianity in the office that he holds of any president that I've ever known in my lifetime. He is not ashamed to say that Christianity should be the foundation and the bedrock of this country, that we need Bibles in our homes, that he's not afraid to endorse whatever Christian holidays that we have. He has been an outspoken advocate for Christianity. And rather than our leaders on the Republican side getting behind that and standing with him on that, they take a silent approach. And it's not good for the country. It's not good for the future of this country as well.
And everyone had best understand this is a war against each and every one of us who believe in God, Jesus Christ, who are Jewish, who are, you name the religion, they are protected by the First Amendment of our Constitution. And the reality is that this is a Judeo-Christian nation. Our heritage, our foundation is built on the Judeo-Christian ethic. And we have to protect and preserve that ethic with every ounce of our blood, if that be necessary. Pastor, I appreciate you being with us. I have to say, I cannot imagine, I could not have imagined having a situation in which so few Republicans would ever stand up and defend Christianity, defend this nation against evil. And refuse to acknowledge what it is. They're such cowards. I'm afraid they won't even name the enemy, because the name is Satan, and the name is the radical Marxist Dems who are destroying this nation before our very eyes. Pastor Darrell Scott, we thank you so much. Always great to see you, my friend. Thank you so much.
God bless you. Thank you for having me.
God bless you, Pastor. Coming up next, radical judges undermining Republican governors as they try to enforce immigration law that, of course, the Marxist Dem Biden regime will absolutely not enforce. They're helping Biden facilitate the invasion, aren't they? We'll have more on that coming right up. And a betrayal from outgoing Rhino Republican Mike Gallagher. What a lowlife he turned out to be. And he could turn control of Congress over to the Democrats with his venality and his cowardice. But Speaker Johnson could replace Gallagher before it's too late. Maybe, perhaps. We'll find out about that straight ahead. Stay with us.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0. When I invented My Pillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. My Pillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature regulating thread. My Pillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of My Pillow.
Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use the promo code to save 50% on your MyPillow 2.0. Not only that, for a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
MyPillow.com.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Welcome back. Many of you recall a story last month about illegal aliens attacking border guards. Texas National Guard troops were shoved. They were knocked to the ground. Watch this. And on Sunday, El Paso judge Humberto Acosta ordered the release of those very people you just saw attacking our troops. A country that is sane, that believes in law and order and justice, would remove Judge Acosta from office immediately for endangering the public. But no, not in Texas, not even in Texas. They will not do so. And meanwhile, those people, those illegal aliens, are on the ground in Texas, thanks to Judge Acosta. He should be ashamed, mortally ashamed. Well, turning now to the Northeast, Fox News correspondent Bill Mulligan, embedded with an elite ICE team, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, in Boston. And in their hunt for illegal aliens, Mulligan saw ICE arrest one alleged child rapist right after another, every hour. Predators from Guatemala, Colombia, and Brazil, a vicious MS-13 gang member from El Salvador. One agent told Bill they can't keep up with the sheer number of creeps, and they're forced often to pick and choose their targets. Watch.
I don't have enough officers or resources to tackle every one of these public safety threats. Are we going after the child rapist today, or are we going to go after that 2 times deported fentanyl dealer? Because we can't get both.
And as if that's not bad enough, Massachusetts sanctuary policies also protect those illegal aliens, making it far more difficult for Immigration and Customs Enforcement to apprehend them. Polling from the Associated Press shows 2/3 of us, 2/3 of all Americans, disapprove of Biden's border policies, including 73% of Hispanic and 55% of Black adults. Is it any wonder that America wants Donald Trump back in the White House? Well, joining us now is former Trump administration official Kash Patel. And Kash, always great to have you with us. First, can you imagine that we're watching in Texas a judge do what that judge in El Paso just did?
Well, Lou, it's great to be with you. And tragically, El Paso might as well be New York City. That's literally what that city has turned into. It's the Democratic stronghold for radical ideology in West Texas. And they've allowed the local governance, as you pointed out with this judge, to take a stronghold in that belief system. So while it's shocking to me that any American who's supposed to be enforcing our laws would allow illegal aliens to be prioritized over our men and women in uniform, putting aside how disgraceful that is, how unlawful it is, I guess it's not surprising even that it's happening in Texas because they've installed these individuals who prioritize politics over national security down there. And it's going to grow unless, like you said, we take it on. And you pointed out in Boston and elsewhere, we're seeing illegal immigrants and ICE's inability to take them on because this government doesn't want to allow them to have the resources to do so.
Let's take up where we are right now. We're now in the fourth year of the Biden administration, as everybody knows. We're also looking at a border that has been 2,000 miles of wide open and owned now by the Mexican drug cartels. We don't have any way in which to protect our border states. Texas is trying its very best, but California isn't doing a thing. Neither is Arizona, neither is New Mexico. They're three-state welcome wagons, if you will, to millions of illegal immigrants who were insisted on coming to this country by Joe Biden. He's invited them. He's paying them. He's paying them with our money, of course. This is outrageous. And still the deaths from fentanyl are going up. The country is in a calamity. And what happens yesterday? We had Transgression Sunday, Cash. Transgression Sunday, brought to you by the Marxist Dems, the Biden regime, these ignorant fools who are in control of our entire government, in point of fact. The Marxist Dems who mean to destroy the family, destroy this nation. And we have pastors who are not even speaking out. We have Republicans who are just sitting on their hands. After he declared war, Joe Biden, declared war for the Marxist Dems against Christians yesterday. Your reaction?
It's all connected, Lou. State, local, federal government, private entities, as you pointed out, whether it's the invasion from the border, whether it's El Paso, Texas, whether it's what's going on in Washington, D.C. or Boston, or whether it's Kathy Hochul and the governor of New York and her pro-crime policies that lead to the deaths of brave New York City police officers. All of that is interrelated because their politics have been prioritized over the defense of everyday citizens. They don't care about the CCP fentanyl coming in and killing hundreds of thousands of Americans. If they did, they would shut it down like we did in the Trump administration. They don't care about illegal immigrants coming in and murdering individuals like Laken Riley. If they did, they would not allow them to cross, and they would punish them with decades in prison if and when they did. But instead, what they care about, Lou, tragically, they care about getting a place in Washington, D.C. and their next meal ticket. They care more about collecting illegal votes so they could rig another election and send themselves back into offices of power and forget the policies of this country that this country was founded on. And as you're pointing out, a brave dad over there who lost his son in the disastrous Joe Biden Afghanistan withdrawal is just another example of how they politicize the entire ecosystem of Washington, D.C., because that's all they care about, where their next name is going to appear in the next headline.
Yeah. Well, they politicized it, but Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, has let them do it. He's provided the money to build a monument to the FBI, the weaponized FBI that hates the American people, who sends its agents who don't have enough to do. They send them around to each house to find people that have posted something they find interesting on social media. We are watching a government that is out of control, and it despises you and me and the American people. They are after us. They are destroying our churches. They are destroying the American way of life. And where's Mike Johnson? Where's Mitch McConnell? Where are the Republican voices in this moment? Yesterday is a day that will live in infamy. It truly will. It was blasphemy, sacrilege, an insult to this nation, all of the people who have ever been in uniform and fought for this nation and our values. It's just to me, completely incomprehensible that no one is standing up other than President Trump to say this will not stand.
Well, this unfortunately can't be a surprise. I mean, this is from a White House who paraded around topless men. I'm not surprised.
I am just disgusted by it. I am just disgusted by it. To my stomach. And I can't believe that every other American isn't as well.
No, you're right. And I think our members in Congress need to actually do a better job leading us instead of writing out $2 trillion checks to promote this continued kind of abhorrent, illegal, disgusting government conduct. I mean, what's it going to take? You're talking to me who's not even a Christian, and I was more enraged yesterday than maybe most Americans because they were violating what has been so sacrilege to Americans, whether you are Christian or Judas or Muslim or Hindu or whatever. It doesn't matter that the White House is now coming forward and saying, we're going to prioritize transgender rights on Easter Sunday. What else are they going to do next? And here's the thing, like you said, Lou, Congress is writing them checks to do it. Nobody's stopping them over there. The FBI breaks laws, rigs elections, politicizes its opponents, and takes down Donald Trump with unconstitutional prosecutions. And what does this House and Senate do? Write a $1.2 trillion check and gives them a new headquarters building. There is no one in Washington that I've seen other than Donald Trump that has the backbone to stand up to these people.
And if we don't have, as a people, the backbone, as you put it, the guts, the principle, the commitment as citizens to stand up with our leader, President Trump, and to support him. He's now facing, straightforwardly, a death sentence. He is, you're talking about 700 years in prison. That's a death sentence. Almost 100 federal charges against him. And we have a national media that doesn't even speak a word in his defense or admonish in even the slightest these pathetically, politically corrupt and venal state and local judges and prosecutors. They are lowlifes. They don't belong in this country to begin with. They should never have been given, in my opinion, the privilege of citizenship in this great nation. And by the way, I'm thinking that many of the Republicans are in the same situation, because if they can't stand up and fight for this country, then I don't want them as citizens either.
You know, I just want Americans to go back to living based on our Constitution. I'm not asking too much, and I don't think you're asking too much either. I think the swamp has been so corrupted for so many decades, and the only person that exposed it was Donald Trump, and the only person that provided solutions to it was Donald Trump, and now they are running terrified. And who are they turning to? Who are the criminals in Washington, D.C. turning to? The media. They're conspirators in the fake news to rig up another headline, to excoriate President Trump, to demolish his followers, to castigate them as racist and otherwise, even though they know it's false, because they know that's the only chance they got of defeating Donald Trump and his movement. And if he wins, and I hope he does, if he wins, they know their reign will end, and they will not stop until November 5th, which means, Lou, we can't either. We cannot count on the elected officials in Washington, D.C. to do the work that needs to be done. We got to do it. And I'm glad we got your program to help get that message out. It's critical.
Well, thank you for that, Cash. I have to say, we are right now, we have to all be very honest and very straightforward about this. Everyone who has a voice in this arena right now. The Marxist Dems have taken over not only the White House, not only the Justice Department, the FBI, the intelligence communities. They are in charge of every part of this federal government. We the people don't have control of a single aspect of our government. There are no checks and balances, and we've got to restore them as quickly as we possibly can. And that effort has to begin now with the campaigning and the election of Donald J. Trump. Cash, thanks so much for being with us as always. Great American. Thank you. We appreciate it. Cash
Thanks.
Patel.
Have a great day.
You too. In Maryland, Governor Wes Moore has dismissed claims that diversity, equity, and inclusion policies contributed to that ship striking the Francis Scott Key Bridge and its collapse. A container ship slamming into that bridge on March 26. Governor Moore wasted no time ruling out the Democratic Party's most obvious contribution to that disaster. But it's a sacred cow for Governor Moore and his Marxist Dem party. No, they don't care about meritocracy. They don't care about performance. They don't care about training, ability, capacity. No, they only care about diversity and DEI, which means absolutely not a thing. It is simply a slogan for more of a descent into, well, less than mediocrity. And certainly it played a part in what happened on that bridge. he's protecting. Governor Moore is his establishment there in Maryland. Meanwhile, firefighters in New York were forced to remove a truck flag honoring September 11th victims, if you can believe this. A staffer for Manhattan Councilwoman Carlina Rivera told those New York firefighters the flag is a, quote, fascist symbol. The locals had also complained about it to Rivera's office, and the latter company was allowed to hang the flag back up after briefly taking it down. But the insult has been done. And no one in the New York Police Department, no one in New York should ever forget what that city council did. And by God, we have got to be better than this. Please, Lord. Coming up next, the Republican House majority is hanging by a thread, and it is a very narrow thread. Thanks to Republicans. Who are they working for, and how have they been compromised? Because they aren't working for the people who elected them. And if this isn't deliberate, if this isn't sabotage, if this isn't political blackmail, well, I don't think anyone else can find any other explanation. That's straight ahead. Stay with us and join us each and every day, 7 days a week for my podcast, The Great America Show, available at LouDobbs.com or wherever you get your podcast. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow, towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept. I'm interrupting this commercial to let you know you can get our 6-piece My Towels, regular $69.98, now only $29.98. Or you can save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels, made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Also, we have bath sheets, bath towels, washcloths, hand towels, and so much more. And the best part, with your promo code, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all My Towels. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free. To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Welcome back. Republicans at risk of losing their razor-thin majority in the House, in large measure thanks to Rhino Republican Congressman Mike Gallagher of Wisconsin. The self-serving congressman announced a few days ago he will resign from the House on April 19th. But according to Wisconsin law, if Gallagher would have retired before April 9th, he would have triggered a special election for his district in Wisconsin. But because of the date of his retirement, which, by the way, there's nothing accidental about it, there will be no special election. There are some possibilities, however, but we'll see. His seat will remain empty until November. This obviously a strategic, deliberate, and downright nasty action on the part of Gallagher to hurt the party that he was part of going into the 2024 election. Speaker Mike Johnson has done nothing at all to stop Gallagher. For all we know, he may have been inspiring him. He could expel Gallagher from the House right now so that a replacement could be made. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene pointed that out over the weekend.
Speaker Johnson has also failed our majority because he is allowing Mike Gallagher to leave Congress after the deadline date, where his district cannot hold a special election and elect a new representative for the rest of this entire Congress. Mike Gallagher betrayed all of us, and Speaker Johnson, as the one who's responsible for our majority, praised Mike Gallagher on Friday after he announced his departure, saying that he's great and praising him and thanking him for his service in Congress. Speaker Johnson should be forcing Mike Gallagher to leave early so that his district can hold a special election, and any strong Republican Speaker of the House would expel a member for leaving our razor-thin majority in such a delicate state.
So the question is, as the Congresswoman says, why in the world won't Speaker Johnson take action to save the slim majority now? And by the way, the slim majority largely is a result of some of the missteps and misjudgments of Speaker Johnson himself. Gallagher should be absolutely shunned by the Republican Party. Donald Trump also reacting to Gallagher's decision. He took to Truth Social to call out the Wisconsin rhino, saying this, quote, "Never forget our cowards and weaklings. Such a disgrace." Other members of the Republican House were hoping that Gallagher would step down early, and they implored Speaker Johnson to make him do so. Well, joining me now to react to all of this and more is Congressman Bob Good of Virginia. And Congressman, always great to have you with us. We have so much to talk about. But let's start with Gallagher. Marjorie Taylor Greene's recommendation that Johnson actually do the courageous thing and throw Gallagher out of the conference, out of the House of Representatives. Your reaction?
I've heard no explanation for why Gallagher is leaving before his term is up in December. This is desertion. This is desertion of the American people, his district, our House majority. Have heard no explanations, no pressing reason why he should make an exception and leave before his term is over. Worse yet, to do it just days before it would prohibit us, or days after, I should say, when it would now prohibit us from being able to have a special election for him to fill his seat. I've never called for a member to be expelled or removed. I've never voted to that effect, but I would certainly do so in this case. We were so ridiculous, those who voted to remove George Santos to further thin our majority unnecessarily back in December. I didn't support that, of course. He was a good conservative voting member. It should have been up to the people in his district. But this is just nefarious, it seems, on behalf of Congressman Gallagher. My hope would be that he will surrender to the pressure and to the criticism, and perhaps he can resign next week when he gets back in Congress, do it before April 9, as you've noted. He could certainly do it by the end of this week. He could do it first of next week, April 8, and come in under that April 9 window. But I would support removing him if he didn't do that.
And you would support it. What is the sense of the conference as you understand it, your colleagues? You have right now a fool for a Speaker of the House. And I don't know what that's my view. This man is not just a disappointment. He is a disaster. He doesn't talk to the media. He does not stand for any sort of discussion with the media. He doesn't put up with the conference very well, and he does what he darn well pleases. He rewards the FBI. He's creating a monument to the FBI, an FBI that has weaponized itself against the American people. How can this Republican Party tolerate this fool as Speaker?
Well, he doesn't have a lot of support. I don't believe he has a lot of support based on his failure to fight, to use every tool at our disposal to try to stop the Schumer-Biden agenda. Most recently, the bill that we passed the day that Gallagher announced his resignation. So I haven't seen him since we left Washington a week ago Friday. But that bill that was passed, the 1,000-page bill where we didn't even have the required 72 hours to read it. Lou, I didn't need 72 hours to vote against it. I knew it was increasing spending from Democrats had full control by some $70 billion. It was keeping in place the Biden, Pelosi, Schumer policies from when they had full control. That's why Democrats voted for it, 90% of Democrats. Why wouldn't they, of course? The only surprise was it wasn't 99% like the previous spending bill 2 weeks earlier. Thankfully, we're able to pressure enough Republicans, expose enough Republicans that a majority of Republicans voted against it. That was significant. It didn't meet the majority of the majority requirement either. And yes, that is a failure of leadership.
Yeah, and he pressed right ahead. The man is a liar as well. Let's be very direct about this. He's not only a fool, he's a liar. He lied about releasing the January 6 tapes. Those still have not been released. He lied about the appropriations and the way to proceed with regular order, intimating all along that that would be the case. And instead, he made deals on the side with as the junior partner amongst the big four, so-called. That would be Biden and McConnell himself and Schumer, of course. It's got to be appalling to you and to other Republican members of that conference to have to put up with this disgrace of a man who says he's a Christian. He hasn't said a word about the satanic policies and statements of this administration. He has not stood up for his religion, for his political party, or for his nation, not once that I know of. Congressman, your thoughts?
Well, the number one thing that I'm disappointed about is we haven't demonstrated a willingness to fight. We should have passed out of the House a spending package that reflected Republican priorities, reduced spending, reverse the Biden, Pelosi, Schumer policies that are in place that are harming the country, the climate extremism, the LGBTQ, transgender agenda, the funding of abortion, the DEI, CRT, and so forth. And for that matter, the FBI headquarters, $200 million for the FBI headquarters. And we should have passed that out of the House, attached to it border security, our H.R. 2 border security bill, and had a fight with the Senate about it in front of the American people, let the American people show or see rather who's fighting for them, the House Republican majority. And then you negotiate and you get half of what you want. That's what divided government looks like. Instead, Lou, we avoided the battle, we avoided the fight, we avoided the risk of a shutdown, and essentially agreed with Schumer on what we would pass out of the House so it would pass seamlessly in the Senate, be signed by the White House, and that is not honoring the commitments that we made to the American people.
And coming up next week, as you well know, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act reauthorization, the Section 702, for, so that the agencies, the FBI, the NSA, and all can spy on the American people at their leisure with a clean and clear heart. The Republican Party, I won't even ask as we go into this what you think will happen. I think we all know what is likely to happen given what is transpassed over this past few weeks. Congressman Good, we thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate everything you're doing. Congressman Bob Good of Virginia, thank you for being with us here tonight.
Thank you, Lou. Great to be with you.
Coming up, tens of thousands of migrant children still missing. No one in the Biden administration cares, not even a little bit. They continue to support sex trafficking. They continue to support fentanyl, human smuggling. They support everything but America. That's next. Stay with us.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow. Towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept. I'm interrupting this commercial to let you know you can get our 6-piece My Towels, regular $69.98, now only $29.98. Or you can save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels, made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Also, we have bath sheets, bath towels, washcloths, hand towels, and so much more. And the best part, with your promo code, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all My Towels. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free. Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0. When I invented My Pillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. My Pillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature regulating thread. My Pillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of My Pillow.
Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use the promo code to save 50% on your MyPillow 2.0. Not only that, for a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
MyPillow.com.
Welcome back. Senator Tommy Tuberville warned a crowd of Utah Republican delegates that, quote, "We are losing our kids to a satanic cult." He's referring to the Marxist Dems, that political party. The media naturally mocked Tuberville for his remark, but it's hard to avoid the impression that he is absolutely right when he says that Satanism is everywhere, it seems, in this country. Just last year, the Satanic Temple placed its first holiday display in the Iowa State Capitol building. The man who destroyed it was punished. Had to be punished, sure. Tuberville is not imagining things, is he? We are watching it with our own eyes, and too many of us are avoiding our eyes from the truth. Meanwhile, the Department of Health and Human Services has lost track of more than 85,000 children who have been illegally trafficked across our southern border. Imagine the entire population of Sioux City, Iowa, vanishing. That's how many children have vanished. And now nearly 24 Republican attorneys general are demanding that Joe Biden do something about the trafficking epidemic. Think about this, folks. This is the fourth year of the Biden administration. They're just now demanding he do something about this trafficking epidemic. Joining us now to discuss sex trafficking, advocate Jaco Boones. Jaco Boones is one of the foremost experts on sex trafficking in the country. It is one of the saddest things about which one can deal with any issue that faces this nation, among many. Jaco, it's great to have you with us. Let's turn to, first of all, 85,000 children. I am uncomfortable with that number. I want to find out if you are. I sense that it's far too low. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. And Lou, thank you. Thank you for all your work, for your contribution to this nation. Much appreciated. Lou, that number is highly underreported. That is a number, remember, that Secretary Mayorkas agreed to. A man that lied, basically lied to the federal government. The number is closer to 225,000 when you talk about NGOs who fight this fight, actual cases by Border Patrol, Texas Guard. We're looking at close to 250,000 children that are unaccounted for in a nation that is the leading nation sexualizing children on the planet. This is diabolical is the only word that comes to mind.
Diabolical, satanic, demonic, and yet both political parties are accepting this. The Republicans are quiescent. The Marxist Dems are in actual league with the Mexican drug cartels and those sex traffickers who have those children. How can a nation lose 250,000 children and not hear a word about it from our national leaders?
Yeah, you said in your opening remarks that there's a demand on President Biden to stop this. He cannot stop it because they're part of the problem. Scripture tells us you cannot serve two masters. If you're lukewarm, God himself will spew you out. We're witnessing the hand of God being removed from this current leadership. And I say that not tongue in cheek. I say that with biblical reference. Other scripture says if you lead one of the children astray, rather you have a millstone around your neck. We're not even talking about leading children astray, Lou. We're talking about losing children. Are you aware, Lou, that in the state of Texas on the border, children are buried, children that we don't know their name, their DNA, where they're from, what nation they're from, that they come with a parent or not with a parent, are buried in Texas soil, and their parents may not know that their child is deceased. That's what's happening in this country under this administration. That's why I'm using the word diabolical, because it is satanic. It is the sacrifice of human life. And let's remember, when the cartel is bringing children across the border and the children end up being trafficked, they're not being sold to Venezuelans in the United States. It's sold to the American public. So there's an accountability measure here by the American public to start looking at the political class through a different lens. We have allowed politicians to get elected that do not represent the will of God, the will of the Constitution of the United States, or the will of the people.
And when you say, and I think you're exactly right, this is good versus evil. It's more than right and wrong. This is the darkest evil one could imagine, what we are witnessing in our country right now. But we are not holding the Marxist Dems, who are responsible for opening that border, for being in league with the Mexican drug cartels, for being in league with the sex traffickers. We are not doing a thing. None of our agencies are pointed at the Democrat Party, because it is their policies, this regime, their policies that are making all of this possible. And what is it going to take for people to understand that the crimes are being committed in this country? That, as you say, and I didn't realize it was that absolute, that the sex trafficking crime is responding to the market for sex trafficking in this country, not in Central or South America.
Yeah, look, Lou, as you know better than any of us, supply meets demand in the financial market, right? And so because there is a demand, there is a supply. The cartel knows this. Joe Biden knows this. Trust me, he is briefed. We have briefed this current administration at length. They're very well briefed on what happens to these children when they leave the Roosevelt Hotel at 39 degrees at night in New York City, and they end up on a heat grid, and the mom is forced to sell her body, and later she's forced to sell her child because they can't survive. But they were coerced, brought here by the Joe Biden administration, by cahoots with NGOs in Central America. This is proactive human trafficking. It's on their heads, and we're not holding them accountable. They get a pass. Mayorkas got a pass. This current president is getting a pass because Americans historically, Lou, love to look at shiny objects like the Epsteins and the Weinsteins and the Puff Daddies of the world. And albeit those are real, we have to go after those. But we have politicians on both sides of the aisle that do not want to really fix this problem. And this is accountability hour. It's the year of reformation. I believe this year we need to reform.
Yeah, I think we must reform. No nation that tolerates this kind of evil has any right to exist. We're losing our right to exist if we abandon children and do so without conscience or guilt or shame. And we have lived too long with this reality, and we have a national media that is complicit along with the Marxist Dems party and this awful, evil regime. Jaco, thanks for all that you're doing to keep this issue in front of the American people. God bless you. Thanks so much, Jaco.
God bless you. Thanks, Lou.
Thank you. Join us each and every day for my podcast, The Great America Show, available at LouDobbs.com, wherever you get your podcasts. And we thank you for being with us this evening. Please join us here tomorrow. The time again, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central. The Lindell Report is coming right up next. Please stay with us. God bless you, and good night.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.